As web designers, we love what we do, but that doesn't mean that you have to take a pay cut to do it. Today we're going to be laying out the different career path options for web designers and exactly what you can expect to get paid to build websites. Let's get started. What's going on, guys? This is Peyton Smith and welcome back to another video. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to grow a freelance web design business, make sure to click below to subscribe so you don't miss a thing. So I've been a designer for over 10 years and I've been designing websites for about 5 years now, and I wish somebody would have grabbed me at the start of my career and just sat me down and showed me the different options that I had so I didn't have to spend years spinning my wheels trying to decide what was the best fit for me. And so today we're going to talk about the different career path options for you as a web designer. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of those different options, and we're also going to talk about what you can expect to get paid in each of these paths. Now, before we dive into the different options within web design, there are probably some of you that haven't even decided if web design is something that you want to do. And so before we get too deep, I want to break down a quick pros and cons list of being a web designer and help you really determine if this is something that not only you could enjoy doing for the rest of your life, but also if it's something that fits your personality and your style. And so let's dive into it. So here on our pros and cons list, you have to keep in mind that I am somewhat biased because this is obviously what I do for a living, and I love it. I think it is a great fit for my personality. It's something that gets me excited every morning when I'm headed to work. But the first thing that I've got on our pros list here is, in most cases, you can get a pretty competitive salary as a web designer. The next thing that a lot of people enjoy is you're going to be working on your computer, and in a lot of cases you're going to be able to have the option to work remotely, okay? So again, this gives us a lot of freedom to work where you want, and in a lot of cases when you want. You're able to work at your own pace, and you're able to work within your own process most of the time, which that means is all that matters is that you get a final result, and it really doesn't matter how you get there. The next thing is most web design jobs are in high demand because most companies acknowledge the need to kind of take things online, right? They need a strong visual presence. And so I truly believe that you are looking into a career option here that is going to be future-proof. It's going to be something that there's going to be a great need for, at least for the foreseeable future. The final thing that I've got on here is web design is cool. People think that it's an awesome job, right? When people ask me what I do and I tell them that I build websites for local businesses, it is kind of a cool and exciting career to be in. And you get to meet a lot of awesome people and make great connections. But at the end of the day, it's something that you can take a lot of pride in, right? And it opens the door to a lot of great opportunities. Now, as we hop over the con side of our list, again, not every one of these is like a hard and fast rule. It really depends on your situation. But the first thing that I've got on here is limited salary. And so you're probably thinking, well, Peyton, you said that this is a competitive salary, right? And while you are going to be able to receive a good salary, it is pretty limited in how you can grow from there, right? If you're thinking, hey, I would love to get paid $60,000 to be a web designer, I wouldn't anticipate any opportunities opening up that are going to pay you $500,000 a year. At least within most situations, you're not going to be able to find that, except for a couple of exceptions that we'll talk about here at the end of the video. But just understand that in most cases it is fairly limited. The other thing really quickly is you might have to work on boring projects. I don't always get to work on the projects that I want to, and this is the same in any job. Don't expect that you're always going to get to pick and choose your projects or your clients. Education never stops in this business, and what I mean by that is the world of web design is constantly changing, okay? There's different trends and different softwares and strategies, and the expectations are constantly changing. And it's important that you can stay up to speed with these things, because if you don't and you kind of just sit back on your butt, you're going to fall behind and your work is very quickly going to look outdated. One thing that I've noticed from working as a web designer is obviously you're sitting most of the day and you're looking at a screen, and so it can be difficult on your body. So I think it's important that if you are going to look for a job within web design, make sure that you set aside times to take breaks and go for a walk or a run or go to the gym. Make sure you take care of your body because it can be difficult. I've got here that creativity never sleeps, and what I mean by this is there are a lot of 9-to-5 jobs where you can check out at 5 o'clock and you literally don't have to think about work until the next day. And for a lot of people, this might be what you're looking for. But if you're truly a creative and I believe a good web designer, your brain's going to be constantly going. You're going to be thinking about how can I improve this project. You're going to be looking for inspiration. You're going to be, again, trying to educate yourself on what's new and what's working. And so you don't really have the luxury of just checking out and turning off your brain after work. And then finally, tough to know if you're making a difference. And I know for a lot of people, you might have that inner desire to really make a difference in the world or in someone's life. And sometimes as a web designer, that might be difficult. And just keep in mind that you may not go and change the world, but it really is a great opportunity to do something you love and to take care of your family. So now that we've broken down that pros and cons list, I want to dive right into the two main career path options that you have as a web designer. And they're pretty clear cut, but within these, there are a lot of different things that you can do, right? And so the first option is just a traditional web design job. And so this means that you're going to look for a company that's in need of a web designer or a user experience expert, somebody that needs help either designing their website or their apps. These traditional web design jobs, they are reliable, they're consistent, and again, they're in high demand. But you have to be ready to do a number of different jobs and probably wear a number of different hats because you are going to basically be doing whatever your employer needs you to do, right? The second option, which is what I choose to do, so again, I might be a little bit biased, but it's the option to go completely freelance and build an agency, right? And so again, there are cons that come with this that we're going to talk about. But as a freelancer, basically what that means is you don't work for anybody except for yourself, right? And you are looking for clients. In my case, I work with small to medium-sized businesses and I build their websites and I help them get their website found on Google. And so I am constantly just working for myself and for these clients, right? And so when we're talking salary for these two different options, I did a quick Google search and kind of grouped all the numbers together and came up with what I think is the average. And you'll see here that the traditional web design job entry level is about $42,000, which again is pretty competitive. With 3 years plus experience, it moves up to an average of about $53,000 or $54,000. So again, not a significant amount, but it definitely is a competitive salary, especially to get paid this doing what you love. And again, there are a lot of instances. I know people that are getting paid $80,000, $90,000 a year as a web designer and UX designer, okay? And so there are opportunities to make more. These are just kind of the averages that you can expect if you're going with this career path option one, which is a traditional job. When we're talking about the salary for a freelance or an agency owner, this is going to fluctuate a lot, right? And I'd like to just preface this and start out by saying there's a good chance that you could make nothing, right? So there's always that risk as a freelancer, and I do know some that just it's not a good fit for them and they don't make as much as they want, and so they have to revert to a traditional job, which again is not a bad thing. So just to put it into perspective, my first year as a freelance, my first full year, I was very inexperienced. I was still trying to decide, what kind of clients I wanted to work with and how much I was going to charge. But I was able to make $81,000 in that first full year. And so when compared to a traditional job, right, that is significantly more. However, that's not a guarantee, right? And so for me, I was fortunate enough to find something that fit my personality type, and it really was something that I felt like I was good at. I enjoyed the excitement, I enjoyed the risk, I enjoyed the selling process. But again, there is no guarantee. So if you're thinking to yourself, well, Peyton, I want to freelance, right? But I don't want to immediately jump off the end of the cliff and risk everything to try to start a freelance business. And that's totally fine. And actually that would lead us to what I would say is probably the best option for most people is get a traditional job to start. Get that experience, work with other people that kind of know what they're doing, but freelance on the side, right? Start that freelance business or that agency on the side and build that up as you're working in your traditional career. I call this a hybrid model because you're kind of getting the best of both worlds, right? You're getting the security of a traditional job, but also you're getting the satisfaction and the potential of building a freelance business that could quickly outgrow your traditional job. And then at that point, you can kind of jump off that cliff and risk it and go full-time on your freelance job. But the biggest thing I think you need to remember is never limit yourself, and never let anybody tell you that you are only worth a certain amount of money and that there's no potential beyond that. Because had I believed that, I probably would have gone and gotten a traditional job and got paid $45,000 a year, and I would still be in the same spot, and I probably wouldn't have moved my career along. And so I would definitely say that no matter which of these career paths you choose, make sure that you really recognize your potential and that you go after what you feel like you're worth, okay? If you feel like you are worth $45,000 a year to work for somebody else and do a great job, then that's fantastic. But if you feel like you are good enough to go out on your own and charge somebody $15,000 for a single website, then you need to do it, because there is a lot of opportunity out there. And more often than not, we don't seize that because we don't know that the opportunity is there. And so I hope that seeing both these paths and kind of talking about these pros and cons has helped you determine what's best for you. If you have any questions about either of these paths, please drop me questions down in the comment. I'm happy to help as much as I can. Again, I'm no expert. I am still fairly new in kind of this freelance space, and I've been lucky enough to find some success. But I truly do believe strongly that there is so much growth to be had, and I hope that this is kind of helping you at least start on that path. So thanks so much for watching the video. Again, if you have any questions or comments, make sure to drop them down below, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.